Please subscribe to my channel and do hit the bell icon. Hello to all dear students. In this video, we will be discussing about certain general approaches for dose adjustment in renal diseases. So basically, we are studying here dose adjustment in a person with renal impairment like uremia. Kidneys, these are the main organ by which drugs and their metabolites are eliminated out from our body. So, in renal impairment means kidneys are not functioning normally. Several approaches are available for estimating the appropriate dosage adjustment for a patient with renal impairment. Now suppose we have got two individuals and one is normal and another one is uremic. So the general approach for dosage adjustment is to assume that whenever drug is given, the average plasma concentration of the drug in a normal person should be equal to in uremic patients. Means suppose you gave a drug to a normal person and found average plasma concentration of drug to be 10 mg per ml. So, when same drug is given to uremic patients, the dose adjustment should be done such that the average plasma concentration of drug in uremic patient is also found to be 10 mg per ml. Okay, so this is about the oral dosing, and whenever we are giving drug via intravenous route, the steady state concentration that is produced in normal person, we should make such a dosage adjustment that same steady state concentration should be produced in uremic person also. So despite of pharmacokinetic variations in uremic patients, we need to maintain a normal plasma concentration of drug in uremic patients as that found in normal individual. So basically we need to adjust the dose in such a manner that to get the desired plasma concentration and steady state concentration of drug in these uremic patients. The design of dosage regimen for uremic patient is based on pharmacokinetic changes that have occurred as a result of uremic condition. So we know various pharmacokinetic changes has been taking place in uremic patient because of renal impairment. And generally, drugs in patients with uremia or kidney impairment have prolonged elimination half-life and changes in the apparent volume of distribution. The method for dose adjustment in uremic patients are based on an accurate estimation of drug clearance in these patients. And we have got two general approaches for pharmacokinetic dose adjustment in renally impaired patients, and these two approaches are, first of all, drug clearance method, and another method is by determining the elimination rate constant. So we'll check out these two methods one by one. But what is our main motive that you should always remember? Our main aim is these two things should always be same. And these two things, the average plasma concentration and the steady state concentration, what is produced in the normal person should be same as that of the uremic patients. When we check the therapeutic drug monitoring, when we check the plasma concentration of drug, the plasma concentration of drug found in normal person should be same that is found in uremic condition. And to do so, what we are doing? We are adjusting the dosage. Okay. Next, we'll check out the first approach, that is dose adjustment based on drug clearance. Methods based on drug clearance try to maintain the desired average plasma concentration after multiple oral doses or multiple intravenous bolus injection as total body clearance changes. The calculation for average plasma concentration is average plasma concentration equals to D naught by CLT into tau. So this D naught indicates dose, this one is the total clearance, and tau is for dosing interval. So this is a normal equation. Let it be equation number 1. Next, for patients with uremic condition or renal impairment, total body clearance will change to a new value, that is total body clearance in uremic patient. U superscript is for uremic patient. Therefore, to maintain the same desired average plasma concentration, the dose must be changed to a uremic dose, or dosage interval must be changed to tau uremic patient, as shown in the following equation. Okay, so what this statement says is, when the person is not normal, when the person is uremic, so the total body clearance of the uremic patient will be different from that of the total body clearance of the normal person. So we need to do dose adjustment in similar manner. So using the same equation number 1, average plasma concentration is equals to dose by total clearance into dosing interval, but this is for normal person. The superscript n denotes it is for normal person, and the average plasma concentration of normal person should always be equal to that of the uremic patient. So this be equation number 2. This equation is for normal individual, this is for uremic patient. The superscript n and u represents normal and uremic condition, and what we want that the average plasma concentration for normal should be equal to that of the uremic condition. And to do so, what we need to do? We need to do the dose adjustment in uremic patient. So we are rearranging this equation number 2 to calculate the dose in uremic patient, and we'll have an equation somewhat like this. Let it be equation number 3. Next, if the dosage interval tau is kept constant, then we'll have a equation somewhat like this. Means we are not altering the dosage interval. The dosage interval will be same, just we are altering the dose of the drug. So we'll have an equation somewhat like this. And this equation is particularly used for calculation of dose adjustment in uremic patient when the drug clearance is taken into consideration. But this is for oral dosage. For intravenous infusion, the same desired steady state concentration is maintained both for patient with normal renal function and for patient with renal impairment. So, therefore, the rate of infusion R must be changed to a new value, that is RU. RU means rate of infusion for uremic patient. So, we have a normal equation, steady state concentration equals to R, that is rate of infusion divided by total body clearance in normal patient, which will be equals to rate of infusion for uremic patient divided by the total body clearance in uremic patient. Let it be equation number 5. So we can rearrange this equation to calculate the rate of infusion in uremic patient, and we'll have a formula somewhat like this. Rate of infusion in uremic patient is equals to rate of infusion in normal individual multiplied by total clearance in uremic patient divided by the total clearance in normal individual. So this particular equation can be used for the calculation of rate of infusion in uremic patients. So this is how we can do dose calculation by taking drug clearance into consideration. Next we'll check out dose adjustment based on changes in elimination rate constant. The overall elimination rate constant for many drugs is reduced in uremic patient. A dosage regimen may be designed for uremic patients either by reducing the normal dose and keeping the frequency of dosing, that is dosing interval, constant, or by decreasing the frequency of dosing, that is prolonging the dosing interval and keeping the dose constant. But doses of drugs with narrow therapeutic range should reduced, particularly if the drug has accumulated in the patient's body prior to deterioration of the kidney function. The usual approach to estimating a multiple dosage regimen in normal patient is to maintain a desired average plasma concentration, same. Next, assuming the volume of distribution is same in both normal and uremic patient and tau is constant, the dose for uremic patient is equal to dose in normal patient into Ku by Kn. So what is this Ku? This is the elimination rate constant in uremic patient, and this one is the elimination rate constant in normal person. Okay, so this is another method by which we can calculate the dose in uremic patient. Let it be equation number 6. Okay, so according to this formula we can calculate the dose of uremic patient as with the help of dose of normal individual multiplied by elimination rate constant in uremic patient divided by elimination rate constant in normal person. So elimination rate constant in normal person we will be having in our data, just we need to calculate the elimination rate constant in uremic patient. We should diagnose it. We cannot calculate it, we should diagnose it. That data we will get, and depending upon these all data we can calculate the dose in the uremic patients. But when the elimination rate constant of a drug in uremic patient cannot be determined directly, indirect methods are available to calculate the predicted elimination rate constant based on the renal function of the patient. Okay, so this calculation of elimination rate constant in uremic patient is not that simple. The assumption on how these dosage regimens are calculated includes the following steps. Like, first of all, the renal elimination rate constant decreases proportionately as renal function decreases. This thing is obvious. When the renal function declines, the elimination declines, and therefore the elimination rate constant also declines. Next, the normal routes of elimination, that is primarily the rate constant for metabolism, remains unchanged. Okay, so only the renal function is impaired, but rest everything is going normal. So this says that the non-renal elimination will be going on at a normal pace. Next, changes in renal clearance of drug are reflected by changes in the creatinine clearance. Okay, so by calculating creatinine clearance we can calculate the renal clearance. So by these three assumptions we can calculate the elimination rate constant in uremic patient. Next, we have a formula somewhat like this. Okay, so what these things are? This is the elimination rate constant in uremic patient, which is equals to a sum of non-renal elimination rate constant and the renal excretion rate constant. So not only in uremic patient, even in normal person, non-renal route plus the renal route together form the common elimination rate. The overall elimination rate constant is the sum of total of all the routes of elimination in the body, including the renal route and the non-renal rate constant. Let it be equation number 7. Renal clearance is the product of apparent volume of distribution and rate constant for renal excretion. Okay, so we can write it in this manner. The renal clearance in uremic patient is equals to the elimination rate constant in uremic patient multiplied by the volume of distribution in uremic patient. Let it be equation number 8. Next, we can rewrite this equation in this manner also. Okay, elimination rate constant is equals to the renal clearance divided by volume of distribution, all for uremic patient. Let it be equation number 9. Next, assuming that apparent volume of distribution and non-renal route of elimination do not changes in uremia, that is, the non-renal elimination rate constant in normal is equals to the non-renal elimination rate in uremic patient, and volume of distribution in normal person is equals to volume of distribution in uremic patient, and then we are using this equation number 9 and we are adding it in the equation number 7. So we will have a formula somewhat like this. We are rewriting the equation number 7, that is, the elimination rate constant in uremic patient is equals to the non-renal elimination rate constant plus, in place of renal excretion rate constant, we should add the equation number 9. We'll have a formula somewhat like this. So let it be equation number 10th. A change in renal clearance due to renal impairment will be reflected in a change in the overall elimination rate constant. So this statement says a lot. Means whenever there is a renal impairment, okay, whenever there is a renal impairment, it will cause changes in renal clearance and thereby it will reflect the overall elimination rate constant. Because changes in the renal drug clearance cannot be assessed directly in the uremic patient, the renal clearance in uremic patient is usually related to a measure of the kidney function by GFR, which in turn is estimated by changes in the patient's creatinine clearance. So basically what we are doing, we are measuring the glomerular filtration rate with the help of creatinine clearance, and from GFR we'll get the knowledge about the clearance, the renal clearance in uremic patients, and with the help of this we can calculate the dosing with the help of either this way, that is the elimination rate constant, or either by the another method, that is the drug clearance method. By these two methods we can calculate the dosing regimen or dosing adjustment that can be done for renal impaired patient. So this was all about the dosage adjustment that can be done, a general approach of dosage adjustment that can be done in renal impaired patient. I hope you people found this video helpful. Thank you for watching.